welcome to the Glitter Show with me, Gillian Gotzel, where my guest today is Alex Trefonas, who's CTO of Algonaut Capital and also the founder of Algodex. So, Alex, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I really appreciate it. Tell me a bit about your background first before you got involved with Algonaut Capital and the whole Algorand world in general.
So I'm basically a lifelong software engineer. I've actually been programming since I was little. My dad taught me how to. It's kind of as a hobby for a while, but out of college, then I became a full-time software engineer, and I worked at a number of companies. I also got interested in crypto way back in 2011.
Wow.
I first got into Bitcoin, and then by about 2015, I got bored of Bitcoin, so I kind of stopped doing crypto for a while, and then just more recently, like 2 years ago, I got interested once again. So I discovered Algorand when I was comparing different protocols, and I really got in love with the protocol itself. I think it's very elegant, and it just works great too. And the developer experience is really good. So I decided to start a project on it. So the
Algorand community is very strong, isn't it? It's very,
yeah.
So you enjoy that.
It's very, very close knit.
Yeah. And when you say you're CTO of Algonaut Capital, is that a fund for Algorand projects, or is it? Explain to me what that does.
It sort of just became like the parent company of Algodex. So basically, I met these Canadian folks who kind of helped to fund the project, and it sort of like a merger type of thing. So
it's a great
right
name.
now, though. Yeah, thanks. So I didn't start Algonaut Capital. They started it, but basically all that Algonaut Capital does right now is it's kind of just a holding company for Algodex.
Yeah.
And related stuff that we work on.
Going back to Algorand again, so you liked it because it's elegant, it's fast, good community. What other tech, and also you can build on it. I suppose the thing about Bitcoin, it's a bit clunky, isn't it, when it comes to no one builds on Bitcoin. It's
exactly.
Great. Yeah, it's not, but he's not going to build. And tell me, why did you choose Algorand over? There's a lot of other layer one protocols out there. What
well, Algorand kind of excels in every area really well. So it's really fast, it's scalable, and the transactions are really cheap. They cost, I think, they cost 0.001 algo, so you can do the math. It's like less than 1/10 of a cent, I think.
Yeah.
And it's probably the most secure blockchain just in terms of how the protocol works, because you can't fork it. So a lot of the other blockchains have forking issues, whether they're theoretical or they actually happen. But there's a lot of scenarios where if a node is malicious, the node can create duplicate blocks and stuff like that, which pretty much every blockchain network can handle. But the ones that are not Algorand, they don't have instant finality, so it takes time for the network, several blocks later to decide which chain of the blocks is the most correct one.
Yeah.
Whereas Algorand, it has single block finality. So as soon as a block happens, which is 3.6 or 3.8 seconds now, the whole network knows for sure that it's the final block. So I thought that was really cool.
And is that very important for trading purposes as well?
Yeah, it definitely helps, because you can build something like Algodex, which is a limit order dex on a layer one, where most, traditionally, if you want to make a limit order exchange, you need to either to have a centralized solution like Binance or Coinbase or FTX or something like that. While if you want to build it as a fully decentralized solution, most blockchain protocols can't support that kind of speed, because you have to be able to create orders, cancel orders, place new orders, and there's a lot of stuff happening that needs to happen quickly, because you can't. It's not practical to place an order and then wait 14 minutes or something, or however long Ethereum takes, if you want to make the entire thing on the blockchain. So Algodex, my project, the entire all the data is on the blockchain, including the order book. So that's kind of why it helps use Algorand.
And are you unique? Are there other DEXs on Algorand?
Yeah, there are other DEXs. The other DEXs are all automated market makers, which are
Okay.
like the Uniswap model.
Yeah.
My DEX is different in that it's a limit order DEX, which is
Okay.
more like a centralized exchange experience, but it's DeFi.
That is interesting. I didn't understand the difference. I saw that in your notes, whatever
Yeah.
things, but it's interesting. So you also list all Algorand standard assets. Tell me about that.
Right. So what's interesting about having limit orders is you can actually trade every single type of asset, even if they're NFTs or ones with very low amounts of liquidity. While with an AMM, you have to have pools. So all the other DEXs are AMMs, which work great, by the way, in their own ways, but you have to have pools of assets. So they don't really work with NFTs because you can't make a pool of like a specific NFT. It just doesn't make sense. So basically, what you do on Algodex is you create a limit order of the asset you want to trade, and that limit order can have any amount of that asset inside of it. So basically, yeah, it just lets you trade everything.
So that means so the limit order puts the price on it that you're prepared to sell it for. If
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone wants to buy it, or that's up to them, whatever. And you can have a number of elements within that, a number of NFTs.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So basically, yeah, exactly the way you described it. So even if an asset's not currently trading, like let's say you have a particular NFT you want to trade, you can search for it on the exchange and you can place a bid for it or a sell order, even if nobody else is trading it, and it'll just open up a position. It's actually neat because you can place bids for NFTs that other people have.
Yeah.
So you can put out offers to buy random NFTs if you want to. I don't think there's really anyone doing this at the moment because we haven't really marketed it like that, but you can do that. And then the owner of that NFT can come onto the DEX and actually sell it to you.
And would it have to be an NFT listed on an Algorand marketplace?
It could be any kind of asset. So you can
but
also
on Algorand, am I right? It has to be.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah. It has to be on the Algorand blockchain.
Yeah.
So any Algorand asset. So of course, there's a number of players out there. Wrapping assets. I heard Glitter Finance is one of them.
Yeah.
But if assets are wrapped onto Algorand, then you can also trade those.
That is cool. I love the idea because you look at different projects and the listing is a big, huge issue. Now, I have loads of NFTs that I have listed on OpenSea and no one's ever bought them. So I do understand. But just being able to do that's kind of cool. No one buys them. That's my problem. But I love the idea of having your assets. You can say, you can list, and maybe there might be a market. Who knows? And you also have staking awards. How does that work?
Oh, right. So basically, we needed a way to incentivize people to add liquidity to Algodex, which to be honest is still a running problem. It's hard to get a lot of liquidity onto a limit order platform in ways that make sense.
Why is it hard?
Well, the problem is that not all liquidity is equal. So because there's no pools and the assets aren't pooled together, if someone places a sell order to say sell USDC for $10 million per one USDC, it just doesn't make sense. Nobody's ever going to buy that. So that liquidity, although it's technically liquidity, it's worthless from the perspective of the platform and the users and so on. So we had to build a complicated system that kind of judges all the liquidity that people add and rates it. So the people that add higher quality liquidity will end up getting more rewards. So it looks at things like the people who add liquidity are called market makers. So the system looks at like market maker uptime. It looks at how close the spreads are, the depth of your orders, like how much are actually in the orders, and various factors like that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then tell me about, you have a whole bunch of partnerships on your webpage. Tell me about some of the more important ones.
That's a good question. So the Algorand Foundation has been an early support of us. And so I'd say they're a pretty important one. They kind of got us kickstarted. We have a number of VCs that have helped us out and contributed to our funding rounds. Um, other than that, I wouldn't say we have like that many active partnerships.
But you have
It's
a
probably,
wide range, which obviously shows
yeah,
support, which is cool.
right, right.
So then I was looking at your permissionless, one of your blogs, token listings, and it goes, without our permission, you can just list a token on the Algodex. That's
Yeah, so
fine.
we saw people spontaneously doing this. So one of the um, one of the things that a lot of token projects do, maybe most of them, is they want to raise money while the project's new before they have a lot of liquidity. So like, let's say you start a token project and you have no money other than the token you've just created, right? And you want to raise money for it. Let's say that you believe the token has a bright future. You think lots of people should buy your token. You can't just create an AMM pool, because in the AMM pools, you have to put your token in one pool and you have to put something valuable in the other pool. Let's say you don't have anything valuable to put in the other pool, right? So you just want to sell your token as like a pre-launch listing kind of thing. You can use Algodex for that, because you can place a bunch of sell orders and you don't need any buy orders. So and then you can, of course, share the link and people will go visit it. People will buy the token and so on. So we've kind of seen this organically. So we decided to kind of make a guide for it so
Yeah.
other people know how to.
And does that mean people, I mean, I love the idea because you hear so much hard stories about listing on exchanges and it's like, oh, so here people list the token, it's free, they can only post the sell side, they don't have to sign up, there's no permission, it's very easy. Do they need a big community for it to work though? People to believe them? Is that kind of like the codicil type thing or the?
Yeah, that's well, I mean, that's like a chicken and egg problem. So
Yeah.
you kind of need the infrastructure there to allow for this kind of thing. And then you also need the community, because it's a bear market right now. A lot of people, I think, have gotten upset over the crypto markets, that they're not paying attention to things as much, or they're not as bullish, so they're not participating as much. But that could always flip around.
No, I like the idea. Your community, your fundraising,
Yeah.
you want to offer the token, you want to do it. So it's like, it's actually, first toe into the water. I do. And especially if they have either community or if the markets turn around, maybe next year, there's a bit more excitability, whatever. So you were saying that the Algodex,
Right.
the main net came out in February 2022. What's planned? Sorry, what have you achieved in terms of numbers and users this year? And what are your goals for next year?
So basically, we recently launched the trading bot. Actually, today we launched the trading bot. So that makes it very easy to add liquidity, because you can just put in your wallet information and then start adding liquidity to it. Basically, in terms of users, it's been kind of difficult. So we have a pretty loyal, but I'd say small community of people who use Algodex. There's quite a lot of people who check the prices all the time, and they just kind of go on and look at the prices, and they probably don't do much else. But because sometimes there's good deals on Algodex, and for like, if you want to trade between Algo and G-Algo, Algodex typically has the best prices out of any of the dexes, because there's no trading fees on Algodex right now. So if people put things and make really good deals, other people snap them up. So it's pretty useful for that. For next year, we're going to focus on making the permissionless token listings have its own kind of page, so you can launch a token and kind of have like page that explains your listing and stuff like that. So basically like a permissionless launchpad kind of thing. So kind of just accentuating the feature that already works.
Yes.
And also, just to go back, like you touched upon, it's really great because pretty much every other launchpad out there, you have to do a whole sign-up process. You probably have to talk to lawyers, give them legal documents, things like that.
Lots of your tokens.
Yeah. But on Algodex, it's permissionless, and because it's all DeFi, anyone can come on. You can make a token and then just list it for sale, like right away.
That's very exciting, and I think just now people always say build in a bear market, and then so right now you're testing, maybe people are trying it again, getting the reactions to it, and when things ease up again, which they will do, I'm not quite sure how long. No predictions here.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Well,
but you're in
hopefully
place.
in the next decade.
Next decade. That's a bit pessimistic. I was hoping the next couple of years for the next halvening. But it's great to have the whole product here. Is there a big team behind this, or you're the CTO?
Yeah. Yeah. So we have like a handful of other developers.
Mm,
We have someone doing UIX. We have, and then on the corporate side, we have someone else as a CEO. We have some directors. Like, so we have, it's not a huge team, but it's kind of close knit. But yeah, we're working along.
cool. And if people want to go and have a look, what's the best place to find you and the Algodex?
Probably well they could go to just algodex.com or app.algodex.com. That's the page.
Yeah.
We also have a Twitter handle. It's Algodex official, and we have a pretty active Telegram chat, which is it's like you just search for Algodex on Telegram. It's like t.me/Algodex. We also have a Discord, and we have a subreddit.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, I must say, I just love the idea of permissionless token listing, because having spoken over the last number of years to people pulling their hair out, trying to get tokens listed. And I'm going, I know yeah, why can't we do like this? So cool. Because then when you make money, at the moment it's transactionless. When things get up, will you make money then from transactions, micro transactions on the movements on the site?
So at the moment, we don't charge for anything because
Yeah.
we're trying to just grow more.
Yeah.
But in the future, it could be one way to get revenue.
Yeah.
Because as far as I know, nobody else out there in Algorand at least is allowing this kind of thing where you can just have a token listing, for free, no signups required.
I feel like just listing a token there. I just do. I do. I want to do it. A Jill token. Can we do a Jill token, please? That's amazing. Thank you so much for your time today, Alex. I really like your product. I like what you're doing. And I'm kind of serious about that Jill token. I'll come back to you on that offline.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's nice meeting you. Thank you.